everybody. My name is Slug, and today I wanted to make an ASMR video where I give a tour of one of my homes in the Elder Scrolls Online. For those who don't know, the Elder Scrolls Online is an MMO that is based off of the Elder Scrolls series, which is the series that Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind come from. Within the game, players can purchase houses that they can fully decorate, and the thing that I find really fun about it is there's obviously a huge variety of furnishings, but a lot of them are themed after the Elder Scrolls world itself. So you can, buy a home and then theme it a certain way, maybe theme it after the location that the home is in. And that's what I've kind of tried to do with this house. This house that I'm going to show you today was my first ever house that I bought in the Elder Scrolls Online. It is the Ald Velothi Harbor House, over here in the northwestern corner of Vardenfell, which is the island that the game Morrowind takes place. It's just north of Nisus, and this was the first house that I bought in the game. I bought it because the architecture of Morrowind was always kind of interesting to me, even though it's not a game that I've really had a chance to play yet. But what I've done is I tried to decorate the house based on the lore of Vardenfell and of the Dark Elves and the great houses of the Dark Elves. And that being said, there may be, maybe as because I'm not super familiar with the lore of Morrowind, there may be certain things in the house that don't make sense lore-wise to put together, but I'm doing my best. But I had a lot of fun kind of seeking out and looking for furnishings that would fit the theme of my home. Right now I'm actually not inside the home yet. I'm actually standing right outside the front door here. And right now I just wanted to give a view of the outside of the house and its location. As you can see, we are right on the harbor here, right on the corner of the map. We have some ruins, the ruins that are north of Nisus, in the distance. I'm not sure if those ruins are supposed to be Dwemer ruins. And then we have the path to the main road over here. So let me go ahead and show you the inside of the house. I'm gonna tap some keys during the loading screen. Okay, so we are inside. The first thing that I'd actually like to do is turn up the audio for the sound effects. will help us hear some of the ambient noises in the front yard here. We actually kind of lucked out with the time of day and the fact that it's raining. The front yard here, you'll notice that there are these Ardenfell glow stalks all throughout the yard. I lucked out one week. The luxury vendor was selling them in every single size, and so I stocked up and tried to put a bunch in my yard. And I feel like coming at nighttime is an especially good time because of this. I'll go ahead and start to show you the rest of the home here. So over here to the left, we have a little deck, a little reading area. Here we have a statue of Saint Nerevar, who is the patron saint of House Redorin. I want to say that this statue comes from either an antiquity or maybe it's an achievement mission from Ardenfell. I'm not quite sure. But up here we just have a couple of seats, a place to read. Over here we have a Telvanni lantern with a mushroom inside. And we have some wind chimes in the back here. I tried to put a lot of bioluminescent plants, including the fireflies here, just to make it a more ambient place to be. I do have a book here, and I don't intend to read the books on this video, but I do kind of want to show you a few of the books in my home, because what I've done is try to theme the books based off of the lore of dark elves and their history, or the history of Ardenfell, the religion of the dark elves, and stuff like that. This book in particular kind of cracks me up. It's called The Mottos of the Dunmerry Great Houses, and it's basically it's a letter from a father to his son, basically giving him the rundown of the different houses of the Dark Elves, but he's doing so because his son is basically an idiot, and he's kind of scolding his son for bringing shame to the house for not knowing about his own history. He says, "If you ever again confuse the Halalu and Dress merchant nobles with whom we trade, I will disown you 3 and 10 times, and once again to make the deed final and eternal." So it kind of gives you just sort of a brief summary. House Redorin, whose patron saint is Saint Nerevar the Captain. House Indoril, whose saint is Saint Olms the Just. House Halalu, whose saint is Saint Veloth the Pilgrim. House Dres, whose Saint Lilithis the Pious. And House Telvanni, whose saint is Saint Voris the Immolent. He also references the 6th house, the Shadow House, House Dagoth, which is now extinct. It was destroyed at the Battle of Red Mountain, which I believe comes up in the Morrowind game. the end, he kind of scolds his son once more. He says, "You will know now, or you will know that twice now I have threatened to disown you. This is because my hands are not so black as Mafala's or Lord Vivek's. My heart is too weak to simply remove you from my family." So, I don't know, it's a book that kind of cracks me up, and I think that's why I chose to put it so close to the front door here. But yes, that's my little deck in the front yard. Okay. Alright, now down this way. We have my little Nyx ox, a native species to Vardenfell. I actually believe that I got this mount for pre-ordering the Morrowind DLC back when it came out a while ago. Morrowind was the first major DLC added to the game, I believe. Over here, we've got my little shed. We've got some firewood, axe, a scythe. Oh, and it looks like Cormac Queen must have laid her egg in my hay there. I have a little Echelet pet in a cage. Not sure why I put him in a cage, but there you go. Over here, we have an Ash Sorrow Bardvark, which is also, based on its name, a native species to Vardenfell. He's actually pretty cute. He's got a really long tail, and sometimes he'll chase his tail. Oh, and there he goes. Alright, we have a nice well here. Over here, we actually have a totem to the sixth house. I actually don't know all that much about the 6th house. As you'll remember in the book, the 6th house is the extinct house, the one that you must not mention in polite company. I did put a little stand here. It was a book. It's called The 5 Far Stars. This book is from the poems collection. I picked it because this is a volume of verse collected from wise women of the Urshilagu Ashlanders. It consists of verses composed by Ashlander warriors, champions, and Ashcans, committed to memory by the wise women and transmitted down the generations. I thought it might be a little fitting to keep this book here. So a lot of the plants here I've tried to keep native to the area. These are I believe these are Nisus plants. I forget quite what they're called actually. Nisus pitcher cluster. Over here we have some moving fungal plants. These are actually native to Sean, which is one of the base game zones. Same with this little fungal plant right here. The sunflowers, of course, are not native to Vardenfell. Those have been imported from the High Isles, as well as the Druidic totem. so now we can make our way to the front door. We've got little mushrooms on the way, little fireflies. These pink mushrooms are somewhat new. They actually come from the Necrom expansion. Okay, got a few more wind chimes here. And actually, before I open the front door, I need to turn down the effects volume again. Otherwise, the door will be extremely loud. Okay. Okay. So, this is the inside of my house. First thing that I want to show you is actually the front entrance here. I put a giant map of Ardenfell up above the front entry. I'm not sure if this is actually right side up or not. But I like to have that kind of front and center. That comes from basically sort of a quest line that involves collecting all of the ancestral tomb rubbings throughout Ardenfell. Over here we just have a few books, a guar skeleton, which is another native species to Ardenfell, I believe. We have another skeleton head. I do want to show you my study. It's the first room on the left here. What I've tried to do is theme my study based off of Saint Veloth, because he is the namesake of my house, the Ald Velothi Harbor House. So I've tried to collect items that kind of are a tribute to Saint Veloth. We've got a few Velothi tapestries on the wall here. Here's one. We've also got a Velothi painting here. I'm assuming that this is of Ardenfell based off of the volcano. We have a Velothi tablecloth. These items right here, I'm actually not quite sure what they're for. They are called Halalu boxes. I don't know if it's a game. I don't know if it's maybe lore-wise this means something to someone, but I got them because House Halalu, anything House Halalu goes in my house, even if I don't understand it. Over here, this item right here, it's called the Veloth Reliquary. It's an achievement furnishing for completing one of the main story quests in Deshaun, where you have to rescue the Judgment of Veloth. It actually kind of does a cool thing. If you click it, it'll come together like that. But I actually quite like, I kind of prefer it when it's taken apart like that. Over here we have a Velothi candle, another tapestry of Saint Veloth, and another book. This one is called The Judgment of Saint Veloth, which I've put here because again it has to do with the quest line in Deshaun, but it also matches the theme of this room, Saint Veloth. Over here we actually have I forget what this item is called. The Velothi Podium of Recitation. I don't quite know what it is. It seems to be honoring some of the family members of the Veloth family. Over here we have a Velothi urn. We have a Talvani painting. And over here is a little cat statue. It is not lore relevant. It's just very cute. And I believe that comes from the Necrom expansion. Over here we just have my armory station, which again isn't really thematic, it's pure utility. And last we have a little Velothi stool. That is my little Veloth study. Over here we actually have a giant table mounted up on the wall. This is the 6th house ritual table, which is an antiquity. Instead of using it as a table, I thought it would make a good wall decoration. And then of course we just have some incense burners, a bowl, and some cloths. Over here we have a book, The Varieties of Faith, the Dark Elves. And it basically just gives a summary of the different gods that play a large role in the Dark Elf pantheon. There is, of course, the Tribunal, which is made up of Almalexia, Vivek, Sothasil. So yeah, that's my book, kind of explaining the religion of the Dark Elves a little bit. Over here in my guest bedroom, I have themed it after the House Talvani. We have a lot of Talvani furniture from the new Necrom expansion. The the Talvani dresser and a candle, a little Talvani pyre, a nightstand and bed. We also have a House Talvani banner, which is, I believe, an achievement furnishing for Morrowind. I forget where these rock formations come from, but I've included them here to kind of give the room more of a cave feel because of the fungal theme. We've got a mushroom growing out of the rock, and little plants growing over here. This right here is actually a music box. I have it turned off right now, but I can just show you kind of briefly what it looks like when it's on. It becomes a little mushroom garden, which is why I decided to put it in this room. I think normally I would have it turned on, but because this is an ASMR video, I didn't want looping music to be playing the whole time. So I guess for now we'll turn it back off. Okay. Over here I have tried to make it as cave-like as possible. There's some more rocks embedded into the wall here. The Talvani wardrobe is sort of embedded into the wall itself with plants growing off of it. We've got a Talvani mirror and some books on the Talvani shelf with a little candle inside of a bell jar and a lot of bioluminescent plants as well. Got mushrooms growing out of the ceiling as well as out of the wall over here. And then we have a little Talvani painting from Necrom. And that's my little Talvani House Talvani room. Back out here, over to the left, we have my kitchen. The kitchen does not have a particular theme. Over here, my two boys, my banker and my merchant. I have a few pumpkins out because when I originally decorated this house, it was autumn, and then a lot of the Halloween event was going on at the time, so I filled my house with some pumpkins. We've got a broom, we've got a little fire pit, and another Velothi painting on the wall. Over here we have a little Talvani platter with fish and squash and mushrooms. We have a bowl of mushrooms behind that, and then it looks like a pile of matcha next to the little keg here. Over here is my fireplace, and this fireplace is actually, I want to explain how I made it. I actually took this idea from the website Spicy Economics, which is a website that showcases a lot of people's houses in the Elder Scrolls Online. One person had taken these two, basically they are sidewalk stones, and used it to make this giant stone fireplace that I thought looked really cool. The thing about it is that these stone items, the Halalu sidewalk, these are not items that you can actually find in the game or buy in the game. They only come included when you buy this particular house, the Ald Velothi Harbor House. There are about 6 pieces of this stone outside in the front yard to make the sidewalk that goes up to the front door. And I basically took 2 of the stones from outside to make this fireplace. And so that is the only way I know of that you can get this particular furnishing right now. I've put a House Halalu tapestry up on the front of the fireplace there. And we've got some firewood. The firewood, I believe, is actually just regular wood, and then underneath I've put, I think it's a Nord torch underneath the fireplace in order to make it look like it's actually running. Over here is my kitchen table. You'll see on the wall here there is a tribunal stained glass window. I believe that one is an antiquity as well. During the day, the sunlight will actually come through. You can start to see a little bit of it on the end of the table there. The actual reflection from the stained glass will go across the table throughout the day. The items on the table include a map of Morrowind. This is also an antiquity, but it's a fairly easy antiquity to get. I believe you can buy it from any vendor in Morrowind. You can buy the lead and then you can dig up the antiquity. And I believe you don't have to have a high level in the Antiquarians Guild in order to dig it up. Over here we have some Telvanni meals. We have a Telvanni mushroom soup, a Telvanni mug, a Telvanni platter, which it looks like it is fish and mushrooms and squash soup. We have a chalice and a tea kettle, another squash soup, and some loaves of bread. I think that those are the Fargrave loaves. Over here on this half of the main room, we've kind of got a little indoor garden. We've got this plant from the luxury vendor that's really cool. It moves around quite a bit. We have a little tribute to the tribunal here on this little garden stone, and a few lanterns inside of the garden area. Over here, I guess you could sort of call it a living room area. This is just a little place to sit by the fire. There is a Telvanni incense burner with mushrooms, which also comes from the Necrom expansion. These little end tables right here are House Halalu end tables, which you can tell based off of the scales on the gold embellishments of the end table. And this is a Halalu fireplace. Over here, let's see what book this is. Vivek and Mephala. I guess this kind of goes over the relationship between Vivek and Mephala in Dark Elf history. Over here is another little reading area. The garden kind of extends over to this area. I believe these plants are also native to Vardenfell, at least these ones are. The guar cabbage cluster. We have a little glowing crystal. Okay, now down this way is actually the basement, and just like everybody else, we have skeletons in our basement. And I mean that figuratively and literally. We've got my nicest Sturzog. He's here in a cage because he's quite scary. He's got 6 eyes and a very menacing face. So that's why we keep him down here, tucked away. I have some meat for him on the ground. We have some past visitors here as well. But we don't need to talk about him anymore. Alright. So back upstairs, the chandelier here is a Telvanni chandelier from the Necrom expansion. The Necrom expansion came out with a lot of new furniture themed after House Telvanni, so it's actually quite perfect for this house. a lot of fungal themed furnishings that I think look quite good. Over here we just have a little nook here. We have a Redoran incense burner. Over here, which book is this? The Book of Dawn and Dusk. The Book of Dawn and Dusk is collections of sayings and aphorisms attributed variously to the tribunals and to their saints and servants. Many of these sayings have become common cliches of everyday life in Morrowind. The following selection of slogans will illustrate many of the simplest notions of the tribunal faithful. So it's just a few sayings and colloquialisms in Morrowind. This book comes from the poetry collection if you collect the lore books for the Mages Guild. Over here we just have a few Redoran artifacts, a Redoran House Redoran platter, and a vase here. Upstairs, the last room is my bedroom. The furniture here is primarily from House Redoran and House Halalu furniture. A lot of this furniture in particular did come when I bought the house. I did buy the house furnished and ended up changing up a lot of stuff, but I was thankful that the house did come with a lot of Halalu and Redoran furniture because it helped make decorating empty spaces a bit better, a bit easier. Over here we have another book, The Living Gods, and it looks like this book just kind of explains the story behind the tribunal, Vivek, Ald Velothi, and Sil. So it just gives a bit more information about them. Over here we have a very extravagant Halalu bed. Actually, wait. I believe that's actually Redoran. Yes, oops. House Redoran bed. And over here we have our little tribute to the tribunal. So that is who we've been talking about this whole time. Almalexia, Vivek, and Sil. I believe the little figurine on the left there is a Dwemer Guardian. There are a lot of Dwemer ruins and history throughout Vardenfell. I believe that little statue, the Dwemer Guardian, came with a ESO Plus this month. The Tribunal Tribute is another achievement furnishing in the Morrowind DLC. I believe this is our last book here, the Cantatas of Vivek. And so these are some more poetry that has to do with the story of Vivek and his history with in Morrowind and with the Dark Elves. Over here a little lantern, which isn't really thematic to the house. That one is an antiquity, but I did like the little steam effect that comes out of it, and I've just kind of placed it on this end table. Last over here we actually have, this is a painting of Cyrodiil. Not really thematic either, but I needed to put it somewhere, and we're just keeping it in storage up here for now. Over here we have a few more statues. The one on the left is Malakath, who, as we read about earlier, is one of the 4 trouble gods in the Dark Elf religion. The one to the right here is Clavicus Vile, who that statue comes from the achievement furnishings for the Morrowind DLC as well. Clavicus Vile had a role to play in the main story of the Morrowind DLC, which is why he's included here. Okay, and so that is pretty much my home. Out here, it's just a little balcony on the 2nd floor. However, I haven't really decorated it any type of way, but you do get a beautiful view of the harbor, of the ruins, and also of the front yard below here. But that's where I'm going to call it for today. So thank you everybody for watching. I'm hoping to make some more ASMR videos in the future. I do have other homes in the Elder Scrolls Online, so if you would be interested in seeing those, I could let me know and I'll see about making another video for those. But for now, I hope you all take care. I'll see ya.